Ogojaja, there are reports about the impact of this continuing political crisis on Rivers State, and I wonder if this is true. You can confirm or deny it. There are reports that many businesses are standing still, waiting for things to be more definite as far as governance is concerned. That in fact there is a vehicle assembly plant that is supposed to take off in Opobo, but because of the political uncertainty, that has not happened. Is that true? And if it is true, how worried is the Rivers State government, and what is it doing to exit this protracted crisis period?
Okay, let me correct Mr. Wallo once more. I stated clearly, very clearly, that the reason for which Governor Fubara was nominated and elected as governor of Rivers State was as a result of his track record. I can state without equivocation that he was one of those behind the success of the last administration. He was the accountant general of the state. And you mustn't have a track record not until you either hold one political office or the other. Don't also forget that accountant general is a career civil service job. He was appointed as the accountant general because he was prudent in the management of the resources of the state wherever he found himself. Having stated that, let me state clearly, when you ask the genesis of what the problem is, Governor Fubara has told Nigerians that he has no issue with his predecessor. He has mentioned to you over and over, but Governor Wike has said to Nigerians that, look, he wouldn't allow any person to take over his structure. I want to state here clearly that Governor Fubara is not interested in the structure. He hasn't been interested. He hasn't told anybody that he wants to control any structure. His interest is in the development of Rivers State. I wouldn't want to go personal when Mr. Wallo said people like Amnosisi Gogojaja. I want to address issues. Governor Wike had said to Nigerians what his issues are, that he wants to control the structure. He wants to control everything in Rivers State. And you know that that wouldn't be possible. And therefore, I want to say that, again, whether you like it or not, wherever you have crisis, there are certain areas it will affect. However, Governor Fubara is facing the task of governance. He's facing the task of development. And if you go to Rivers State today, a lot of projects are being executed and they are carrying on. Maybe, like I said, if the issues are coming up, I want to address them, tackle them headlong. I wouldn't want to parry any question. Yes, there must be areas the crisis will be affected. However, Governor Fubara is executing projects he has promised Rivers people.
So let's talk about the areas that this crisis, of course, some of the areas this crisis is affecting. One of them is the budgetary process. We've seen now the Amewule-led House of Assembly and the Okojobo group, the back and forth. One saying your seats are vacant, the other one saying no, your seats are vacant. And then the Amewule-led House saying, well, the government can present the budget. By the way, they are still stuck on the previous budget that has not been presented. And I imagine what that is doing to governance. And the Okojumbo group says, we are ready for 2025 budget. Clearly, and I speak with business people, investors, and these are the kinds of things they look at and they say, no, don't go to Rivers State, because clearly the atmosphere is very uncertain. They can have a deal with the government today and tomorrow another group says another thing. So there's no point even coming in the first place. So clearly this is affecting, governance and even the business activities a lot.
Well, if you're talking about the 2024 budget, I think that is an appropriation law in Rivers State today. That budget has been presented and signed into law. I think that the governor is talking about the presentation of 2025 budget to the Rivers State House of Assembly. There is no group that can claim that there is no budget in Rivers State. The budget has been signed into law. And I will want to implore you, whoever you have been advising not to come to do business in River State, please do well and tell the person to come and invest in our state. The 2024 budget is in operation.
Honorable Budgetary, just a moment. I will not let that slide. You misquoted me, obviously. You said I'm advising people not to come to River State. You know I never said that.
Whoever you have an opportunity to advise,
all right,
please advise encourage the person to come to River State.
Because facts are sacred. I don't want anybody to misquote me on this one.
No, I won't misquote you.
All right. Sure. So let me ask Dr. Wallu as well. Do you agree with him, particularly regarding the budget? Also comes to the seats that have been declared vacant. At this rate, if we're going by what both groups have said, all seats are vacant. But let's talk about the budgetary process and how this is affecting, business governance itself. Do you agree with Honorable Budgetary that this is not affecting in any way?
The truth is that when people want to help you, they tell you the truth. But when they want to help themselves, they tell you what you want to hear. I think what my brother there has said is what he thinks the governor wants to hear, and he's saying it to help himself, not to help the governor. As of today, the authentic House of Assembly in River State is the one led by Martin Lamegule. Only last week, the appeal court said so. Before then, the Omoto Judge Somochoso said so. And of course, River State is made up of 32 seats. The assembly is made up of 32 seats. And what is referring to as River State House Assembly is 3 persons. That is not what Rivers people want. That's not what Rivers people voted for. Now, even if we have crisis, you will expect that people will follow the law and obey the law. And when there is clarity as to what the law says, people are bound to obey them. It doesn't matter how you feel. You may not be comfortable with the position of the law. Because when government becomes a lawbreaker, it invites anarchy. And we have seen a lot of it, or something close to it in River State. We have seen people die. We have seen properties destroyed. That's the kind of thing that's going on in River State. It's telling you to tell those who want to come to River State to come and invest. It's not your business to do that. These business people, they have their information and they get information. They know how to do the analysis. They know where to put their money. So they will not rely on what one person or the other tells them. And when you talk about who is authentic and who is not authentic, ordinarily, let us even assume, without conceding, that some people have lost their seats. The normal thing to do is for you to put in place a process so that there is representation. Because we're talking about democracy. What we have in River State today is dictatorship, wherein the governor is both the assembly, is the executive, and to an extent the judiciary. And in that kind of situation, what you will have is chaos. There's no development going on in River State. Let nobody be deceived. There's nothing happening in River State. You say a lot of projects are going on. You need to mention them. You need to let people know what are these projects, what are the impact of those projects, and who approved those projects. If you don't have a budget and you are going ahead spending public funds, all because you think that it suits you at a particular point in time, I believe that one day this matter will come to a head in the court of law, and everybody will know who is right or wrong. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to bother so much about the legalese. But the truth of the matter is that last week there was a court judgment saying that Martin and co are the authentic leadership of the River State Assembly and have asked the governor to represent the budget. But people take public policy, public affair, and treat it like private affair. River State does not belong to Governor Fubara. It belongs to Rivers people. He's our governor, yes, but he has to follow the law. He has to work with other people. He wants to work alone. He's comfortable with the 3 persons that like his errand boys. He tells them what to do and they do it overnight.
Well,
the budget that they are making reference to, that budget was passed overnight. I was in cabinet then. I didn't even get to hear that we were going to present budget. Ordinarily, every commissioner was supposed to go and defend their budget before the State House Assembly. But that didn't happen. Do you call that a budget? Do you call that a government that is democratic? Do you say that government cares about Rivers people? and their future? The answer is no.
Well, Mr. Walu, the River State government has since appealed that judgment, and we imagine that following that appeal, that perhaps things will stay as they are, but lawyers can interpret that. Let me bring this now to Mr. Gogojaja. What needs to give such that there can be a solution to this political crisis?
No, let me correct some impressions so that Mr. Walu does not misinform Nigerians. First is you will not divorce this matter from the incidents of 30th October 2023. Some people were directed to go and serve the governor an impeachment notice. And when they got there that morning, the first thing they did was to say they have suspended 4 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Don't forget that these people are members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And on the same date, 30th of October 2023, another speaker emerged in the person of Right Honorable Edison Eye. And within that period, when another speaker emerged, that was when Martin Samehule and his group approached the State High Court or Federal High Court to determine the authentic speaker. Don't forget, there are 2 speakers now. And between the period they went to court and the 11th of December, they defected to another political party. They had initiated the matter you are talking about before their defection. Don't also forget that there were 2 claimants to the office of the speakership of River State House of Assembly. Having defected, nobody anticipated that the speaker would be part of those who would defect. Now, Edison went to the State High Court, the Court of Justice Dana Gogo, to declare him the authentic speaker of River State. And he got an ex parte order to function in that office without interference from the other group. And it was on that basis that on the 12th or 13th of December, he declared their offices vacant. He rightly wrote to INEC. And as soon as he wrote to INEC to declare to fill the offices, Amehule has never told you, and I'm sure that they will not inform Nigerians, that they ran to the Federal High Court, the Court of Justice, Donatus Okorowo. They swore to an affidavit agreeing, affirming that they have defected to the APC, and that the court should restrain INEC from either withdrawing their certificate of return and filling their offices. That order they got, and that is the order they are used. They haven't told any person that they swore to an affidavit. That having declared, Supreme Court had earlier said that as soon as you defect, you automatically lose your office. Now, having declared their seats vacant, they ran to Justice Okorowo's court to get an ex parte order restraining INEC from filling their seats, from conducting elections to fill their seats. These are things they won't tell you. And therefore, when you say that appeal court has said that Martin Samehule is the authentic speaker, this is a matter he filed before his defection. They will also tell the world this. And therefore, you can't place something on nothing and expect it to start.
But Mr. Gogojaja, pardon me if I may come in there. Can 3 members form a quorum to preside over State Assembly affairs?
Sure.
3 members, just 3 members.
Sure. What does Chapter 5, Part 2, Section 96 of the Constitution, if you permit me to read, it says the quorum of a House of Assembly shall be 1/3 of all members of the House. That's it. But a lot of people stop at subsection 1. If you go to subsection 2 of that section, it says, if objection is taken by any member, if objection is taken by any member of the House present, that there are present in the House not fewer than 1/3. So it depends if you check the constitution, the only person who can determine if the House has formed a quorum is a member sitting in that chamber, not any other person, as provided by section chapter 5 part 2 section 96 subsection 2 of the House. So when you talk about quorum, you do not have, no other person has the right to draw the attention of the speaker to the quorum of the House except the member that is sitting. But when Nigerians read the constitution, they only restrict themselves to the provisions of section 1 of 96, section 2, subsection 2. I can tell you that sure, the House can sit with 3 members and perform the business of the House.
All right.
That's the constitution.
All right, very quickly, Mr. Gogojaja, speak to solutions. What should give for peace to reign in Rivers State?
For me, I think that they instituted a matter in Justice Okorowo's court. And since they got that restraining order stopping INEC from conducting election in their constituencies, they haven't returned back to that court. And that's an ex parte order. I feel that those who have defected according to the judgment of Supreme Court have automatically lost their seat. You don't even need an interpretation of court.
But Mr. Gogojaja, parties are choosing which judgments to obey, and when they refuse to obey a certain judgment, they go to a higher court. For instance, the Rivers State government has approached the Supreme Court following the judgment that affirmed Martin Amewule as speaker. So are the courts the solution? Are you sure that the courts are the solution to this?
Now listen. Even in the 8-point agenda they were talking about, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu offered to bring solution to the crisis, when it came to the issue of the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly that have crossed to the APC, what did the president say? The president said they have already crossed the other side of the river and that he will not allow them to return. What does that mean? That they have already crossed to APC. That's what the president told them. Why are they disobeying the president? Why are they saying they are no longer members of the APC? They told Mr. President that they have crossed over to his party, and President said that, look, people have already crossed over to the other side of the river, and I won't allow you, I can't receive new children and allow them to go back. For them to return to say to Nigerians that they are no longer members of the APC is also a disobedience to Mr. President. They will know where they are, go back to their constituencies to recontest and see if they will be voted to return to the House. As we speak, they are no longer members of the House, and that is the simple truth.
Well, Mr. Gogojaja, I think it was the FCT minister that asked the governor to obey court orders, right? So if you say that even though this case was put in court before an incident happened, the onus is then on the party who is aggrieved to go to court to vacate that particular judgment. But I think we all agree that court orders or judgments should be obeyed when they are given and not choose. And I think it goes to the other party, to Dr. Wolu. Mr. Gogojaja, just a second, pardon me. Let's allow Dr. Wolu speak to this one as we wind down, because it's also been said that your group is choosing which court order or judgment to obey.
That's not true. That's not true.
Now, the person, if you ask me, the person who disobeyed the president and said so very clearly to the world is the governor. Because after the resolution was made, the governor came back to the state and announced to Rivers people and the world at large that the agreement was not a death sentence, that it was something he was ready to implement, and that there was no price too high to pay for the peace of Rivers State. And I like that sentence, that there is no price too much to pay for the peace of Rivers State, because without peace there cannot be development. Now, a few weeks after, when those who want to help themselves, like I said, when they want to help you, they tell you the truth. When they want to help themselves, they tell you what you want to hear. When they went back to him and told him what he wants to hear, he turned and said that what happened with the president was a mere political, I don't know what name he called it, and that he has no constitutional backing, and then that he was not going to go ahead with it. And that is why this problem has lingered. For me, it is not correct for anybody any individual, no matter how highly placed, or any institution to disobey orders of courts. Because without the judiciary, this place will be an animal kingdom. Without law and order, man becomes an animal, living by his instincts. Unfortunately, we have a situation where those who are supposed to keep the law are the ones breaking it. And some people, because it feels good, because they think that there's something they have to benefit, are supporting that. That should not be allowed. Well, let me tell you, River State is too important to be toyed with by many people who are uninformed about politics and democracy, but who have become very prominent in the politics of River State.
Well, gentlemen, we have to anchor at this point because of time.
That the major reason Governor Fubara was supported by Rivers people and nominated by the party is because of his accomplishments. He's seen as a man who can deliver. And I want to say that irrespective of the distractions that Governor Fubara is delivering, the purpose for which he was elected to govern Rivers State, I want to assure you that he is not distracted, he is focused, and by the special grace of God, in the next celebration of his second year in office, you will marvel at the level of progress and development he has achieved in Rivers State. I wouldn't want to bore you with some of those achievements now, but like you said, maybe by the time we get into the main issue for the day, you will appreciate that there are people who are set out to see if they can distract him, but he has refused to be distracted. He is focused and he's achieving the promises he made to Rivers people.
No, my question was particularly about whether or not you're exhausted or this is exhausting for the government, and you want this to end as quick as possible, at least for the government of Worsen.
There is no government who wouldn't want to have a peaceful atmosphere to govern. It's exhausting because those who are set to distract him have planned out their programs from one problem to the other, but he has the capacity to endure all.
So let me come to you now, Mr. Wolu. We can't ask this question enough about the origin of the crisis, or the political crisis now in Rivers State. And it's an important question because it's been asked time and again, what exactly is between the two leading politicians in Rivers State, the governor, Sim Fubara, and the FCT minister. So do you have an understanding, if you do, perhaps you could enlighten us, does this have anything to do with who controls what in governance? Does this have anything to do with the Rivers State Treasury?
Okay, so listening to my brother, Tamino Sisi, he said that the governor was elected because of his track record of performance. That cannot be true, because before now, nobody knew about the governor. He was the accountant general of the state, and I don't see how we were able to measure his performance. Perhaps if he's contesting again and he has something to show, we will see. But until then, nobody should make reference to his performance because he doesn't have any such record. That said, I'll tell you simply that as a Rivers person, I've reflected on this matter over and over and over again. And when I listen to commentaries, I hear this question being asked often and on, and I have tried to see whether I can find an answer to it. And my analysis leads me to what I would call the happening of culture in Rivers State. Don't forget that before now, in 1992, we had Rufus Ada George as the governor of Rivers State, and we had Governor Peter Odili as his deputy at that time. Fast forward to 1999, Peter Odili becomes governor of Rivers State, but we not sit in the same room with Rufus Ada George. And then while he was governor, his best man was Rotimi Amechi, who was the then Speaker of Rivers State Assembly. And Odile actually wanted to hand over to Amechi until the K-Leg saga happened. Now, Amechi comes governor, but we will not see eyeball to eyeball with Odile. And then, as governor, his best man was Nyesom Wike. And Nyesom wanted to become governor, and then there were, as God will have it, Nyesom becomes governor, and we don't see eyeball to eyeball with Rotimi Amechi. And then we thought that this time around, because of the way Nyesom Wike was able to midwife the coming of Fubara, that there will be that shift in the way things happen in the state, wherein the predecessor and the successor can sit in one room and perhaps bring other former leaders and all the leaders and stakeholders in the state under one roof to begin to chart a veritable course for moving River State forward. But unfortunately, that did not happen because, like I said, culture happened. Because culture is the way of life of a people. And from what I have told you, now you can see that there is a pattern, there is a way of life of Rivers people. And this is because some people, I was listening to a former senator from Rivers State talking about this issue the other day, and he said that there was no way that Fubara was not going to run foul of Wike, because after all, it happened in the time of Odile, it happened in the time of Mechi, it happened in the time of Wike, and so it should continue to happen. And this is the kind of story that you get being shared and transferred by very wicked people who don't want River State to move forward. And other younger people, including my brother, Terminus Sisi, Gogo Jaja, have bought into that. For them, as far as they are concerned, what makes sense is that there is Fubara quarreling with Wike, and they couldn't be bothered about how that affects the livelihood and the lives of Rivers people. About of River State within the committee, of the fact that this crisis has cast River State in very bad light.
Well, Mr. Wolu, your historical, memory lane journey certainly helps, but it still doesn't answer the question about what exactly has turned sour between, former governor and current governor. I'd like to take it now to. Okay, just do 30 seconds on that, so that I can take it to Mr. Gojaja.
The point is that Fubara became governor with the help of Nyesom Wike, who in the first place rallied the rest of the party members to nominate him and campaign for him vigorously. Now he becomes governor, and people went and lied to him, told him that, look, here in River State, the only way things can work is when you quarrel with your predecessor. And I told you who said that, and several other people have said the same thing, that you must find a way to quarrel with your Oga, as he calls him. And then he did.
But indeed, if it were that simplistic, certainly there has been a political solution brokered to this crisis, for which some have said it was an unfair balance that didn't favor the governor, but still he has ceded to it. And the governor has said that he has, done everything he can, to ensure that this comes to an end, including going on all fours to beg. So one still wonders why this has not been resolved. But let me take it to Mr. Gogo Jaja. Let me take this to Mr. Gogo Jaja.
So, guys, you have seen the extent to which this crisis in River State is taking River State to. I mean, you have seen the extent of damages that is being caused in the state. So it is clear that investors will not want to come into an environment where there's turmoil. It's very, very obvious that people who are already doing business or businesses in River State will be wondering and they'll be concerned about the fate of their businesses tomorrow. So, guys, honestly, no state in Nigeria deserves this kind of turmoil, especially at such a time when Nigeria is going through a lot in terms of finance and all that. You can imagine just for somebody to be in Abuja destroying the entire state because he feels his structure. I don't understand when Wike says structure. In short, I still try to understand what Wike means by structure. And you see people like this coming out to defend Wike. Why is it that Wike can't just hands off Rivers State? Why is it that Wike can't be on his own? Why is it that Wike can't allow Rivers State to breathe? Why is it that these people who are following Wike can boldly come to a media station like this and talk boldly without masking their faces? Why is it that people have decided not to call a spade a spade? Honestly, a whole lot is going on in Nigeria. You can imagine the extent to which these people can go because of politics. That is why people can go missing. People's life can be taken away and all that in the name of politics. So you can imagine how Wike is comfortably living in Abuja and then setting Rivers State on fire, and he's comfortable with that, and you still see his people coming out to talk. Honestly, it is shocking to see that people are even supporting Wike in all this. Why not just leave the state? Even if Fubara did not, play to your term, if Fubara did not obey what you told him, if Fubara did not agree on you people's agreement, if Fubara decided to disassociate himself from you, why must he suffer? It is a personal decision to say, okay, I'm no longer going to follow what we discussed or what we agreed on. Why should Wike just be tormenting Fubara? Why will he just be tormenting Fubara for no reason? So, guys, honestly, it is so pathetic. It is really, really so pathetic looking at the way things are going on in Nigeria. And guess what? The APC is quiet because they know all this is favoring them. When they scatter Rivers State tomorrow, it will be easy for them to rig election. They want Wike to be the head there so that tomorrow Wike will help them to rig election. There is nothing else Wike knows how to do. It's only to rig. According to the man that spoke recently on Symphony TV, he said there is nothing. Wike does not know how to involve himself in an election that is credible. He must want to do one or two things, to win that election at all costs. So, guys, I'm just wondering what benefit is Wike getting from all this turmoil in Rivers State? What benefits is Tinubu's government getting? All this is because elections will be rigged. No doubt they are not giving us, honestly, any dividends of democracy. No doubt they don't care about the people. No doubt there's hunger and they are just making people to live on palliative. They are not empowering people so that they can have a long-lasting means of livelihood. They just allow Nigerians to just, be beggars every day. So, guys, a whole lot is happening in this country, and it's so sad that this country has come down to this. Even in the days of Buhari, it was never like this. And people were thinking that Buhari was the worst government ever in Nigeria. Now we have Tinubu, the worst of the worst. You can imagine this just because Wike wants to continue his transaction. He wants to continue to give them Rivers State. He wants to claim Rivers State as his personal property so that he'll be able to sell Rivers State come 2027. And because Fubara is not giving him any breathing space, guess what? He's now using all these taxes. How can a court see people who defected and there are affidavits to that, and then they are telling us that they remain the legitimate lawmakers in the state? So, guys, we are looking forward to seeing what the Supreme Court is going to say, the judgment that is going to come out from the Supreme Court, because honestly, Nigerians are not ready to take this one answer. Somebody defected and it was open, it was clear to Dick and Harry that they've decamped, and only for them to come out and say nothing like that decamping happened, that they never decamped. So, guys, a whole lot is happening, and I'm just wondering if Wike is even thinking about the people of Rivers. That's the extent to which he does not value the people he wants rule. So, guys, I don't know what you make of all this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as regards to what's happening in Rivers State and the effect it has on the people and other businesses which are to come in, or the businesses that are already existing in Rivers State. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this? So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.